Hi, this is Dr. Teresa Smith, Dr. TAS, and welcome to Talk with TAS Live. I am excited to welcome additional cast members from the fabulous Hello stage play, gospel stage play, the Brownie and Unforgettable trip to my show today. And so, hi Lucy. I hope things are good with you and you're enjoying retirement. Hello,
Hello.
ladies. Good.
Hi. Hi.
I'm waving at folks and speaking at the same time. I hope you ladies are having a great
Oh,
Sunday.
yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Good, 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 good. I am too. I am too. I think it's maybe Felicia I'm trying to bring in. It is. Gonna bring her right on.
Jason, shh.
There she is,
2.0.
twin. Did you hear me?
Hello.
How are you doing?
All right. I don't have my glasses on, but I think, is that Kesey?
Hey.
That's Eva. Okay.
Hi, Cam. I said my twin is coming on. You get it,
Yeah.
Felicia?
Yes,
We,
darling.
yeah, and the way
Yes.
they're positioned on the screen, it's like, okay, blonde and blonde, black and black. You know, that's a perfect match
That's a good
there.
sign.
It is an excellent sign. So I was just welcoming everybody to the show today. Um, Felicia, not to put you on the spot, but just for those who are joining us for the very first time, tell them a little bit about Sister Nadine, and then just a little bit of a teaser about the play so they'll understand what's happening today because, you know, we got the family with us today.
Right. So, Sister Nadine, I would say she is the saint that ain't. She's that person in your church that has to run everything. She got to be in charge of everything. You can't talk to the pastor without going through her. She's the one to decide what ministries you are on and all that crap. And she is hell on wheels at home. I would say that. She runs the church with an iron rod, and she does so with her household. She is one of those people that looks down on everybody else because she's the only one that's going to heaven. Nobody else gonna make it in but her. Okay. As far as the stage play is going to debut a group of people or couples that think they have it all together also. They think they have it together just like Sister Nadine, but still they all have to answer to her in the church. And so they are going on a trip, on a retreat, and the pastor says this is going to be an unforgettable trip. And then it truly is, because on the way on the trip, some things happen unexpectedly that really finalized some plans for some people who thought that they were going in one direction and end up going in another.
Mm. So now
Mm.
you done piqued our interest now. So let me introduce the ladies that are with us today. Now we've got Lakeisha Smart with us. Now let me tell you guys, the first interview I did was with her real life husband, Brady Smart, who is playing Kenny, which is Nadine's husband in the play. And
Yes.
Mhm.
so, you know, let me just say this is a very musically um, entertainment family because I didn't realize until I heard your voice last evening that you were a musician too. And opera, I believe, is one of the things that I heard. I'm saying hi to people, guys. I'm waving. One of the things that I read and I thought, oh my God, you two are just a perfect match. But tell them a little bit about yourself, Lakeisha.
Um, yeah, I do sing. Well, I'm an entrepreneur. Well, you heard most of this from Brady's interview. We own a production company, singing. We do a lot of things within it. We have decoration, event planning, all that good stuff. But and I also I'm a choreographer. I own a dance school. Um, just singing. I recently released my first single, and I'm working on my next one. Just staying busy. I did graduate singing opera and classical music, though. That is my strong suit in gospel.
I said it before, and I'm going to continue to say it, Felicia. God, you, and Evelyn have assembled a cast like no other. You know, I was on
It's
yesterday with
good.
God and Satan, guys, and I was talking with the gentleman, and then I did watch Lewis's movie yesterday, and I'm thinking, oh my God.
Oh,
And
wasn't that
then
interesting?
yes, Sins of the Children, I think it is. Children, no,
Uh-huh.
Children of Sin.
Children of Sin.
And it's Children of Sin, thank you. And it's you can get it on Tubi, and it's also on Amazon, I believe. And so I was like, I wasn't expecting that. And from a spiritual perspective, guys, so you might want to check it out. And then with Tyrone was going to be at a festival last evening, but I saw something on social media, and I got a chance to actually hear him perform it. I'm like, oh my God, there's no way you could have just done this without him being in the midst. No
Exactly.
way at all.
I agree.
No way at all. Now, now I got to give the stage to is it Katia? Am I mistaken? Okay. Tell us a
You can
little bit about
call
you.
a songbird.
Is that Songbird? Okay, Songbird. Thank you.
Okay. My name is Katia Madison. I go by Katia Sings. I'm an 11th grader at Jim Hill High School, and I'm also Miss Junior. So.
Oh, congratulations, Miss Junior, an 11th grader, and already getting your feet wet in the theater. So is your aspiration to be on stage and in film?
Yes, ma'am. I want to be an international gospel recording artist.
Well, you got enough people in this one play to help steer your path because you got some heavy hitters around you. Yes. So again, you take advantage of that. I'm a former school counselor, so you take advantage of that. You learn everything you can from them because each person will be able to tell you something else that will help you put together your pieces so that you can chart your way, okay? All righty then. Well, let us get started. I'm going to start with Lakeisha. Now, Lakeisha, what's your relationship? Because you're Eva. What's your relationship with that Nadine?
I am Eva's. I'm Eva, Lord. I am Nadine's sister. Oh my gosh, this role is so relatable, but I don't really have to change being myself because Eva gets people together, and it is so up my alley that it just falls right into place.
Well, now let's again. That's God working behind the scene, like I like to talk about how He just orchestrates things. That's like, oh, you give me a role that is really true to who I am, so you're able to bring the believability to that role. Now, I got to ask this now because you saw the interview I did with your husband. Now, I know you like to get people together. Are you doing it? How are you getting people together as Eva? Are you doing it in a nice way? Because you know you got to deal with Nadine.
Eva is caring and compassionate. She's just very blunt and straightforward. She doesn't like to.
Oh, we lost your volume there, Lakeisha, for a moment. I don't hear you. Do you guys hear Felicia?
No, maybe she hit the mic icon or something.
You're circling through. So what I'm going to do, Lakeisha, while you're coming back up as far as your mic, I'm going to talk to our Miss Junior here. So now you play Nadine's middle child.
Yes,
I'm not mistaken. Now, tell the audience a little bit about Anne.
Anne is a person whose mother takes her through a lot. She's been through a lot, and it's frustrating, and a lot of stuff that goes on.
She loves her daddy, honey.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Now, are you a mama girl or are you a daddy girl?
Oh, no, I'm a daddy's girl. Me and my mama, we bump heads.
Well, now, y'all bump heads. Do you think that Nadine loves you?
Somewhere in that stone of a heart, probably, but no.
You said she got a stone of a heart. Give me an example why you would say she got a stone of a heart.
Because just like Miss Felicia said in describing her, she thinks that she's on top of the world and everybody's beneath her. And nobody can do no greater than her. And it's just like, if you try to tell her that or try to explain it to her, she comes back with attitude. And the way my attitude's set up, we bump.
Well, now, I'm pulling on. Yeah, I'm pulling on from real life experience here. Sometimes when people bump heads, they have more in common than what they realize. Yeah. Now, is it possibility that you got more in common with Mama than
I can believe it, and I feel like that's why we bump heads. But see, my big sister, Patsy, she follows my mama around, and she wants to be just like her, make excuses for her, and I be trying to tell her, you gotta see it from both sides. You trying to make excuses for mama, but your mama act foolish.
Oh no, not Mama act foolish. Well, so she's not loving at all.
Not towards me, maybe to them other folks, but not towards me.
Oh, so she ain't loving to none of the folks in the house. But everybody outside the house, Nadine is loving to.
Oh, yeah, them her favorite people.
Okay. Now your aunt's back. Eva, it seems like and her mama, your sister, they don't sit horses.
Oh my God.
But it seemed like they got a lot in common though. So
both strong-willed, strong-minded.
Both strong-willed, strong-minded, want to do it their way.
Their way or no way.
Or no way. Well, now you were talking about how you try to keep the family. You didn't say the family, I'm saying that for the folks, but I felt like you were talking about you try to keep the family together. You try to bring everybody together. Well, why is it that you have fallen into that role?
Big sister.
Big sister.
Mama Ruth don't play either. Yeah. I guess somebody has to try to be the mediator when all this chaos is going around. And Eva, from what I've learned, Eva don't play. From what I've learned, from what I've heard about the book, Eva does not play. Eva's not the one, and Mama Ruth either. So.
And it's really, when you think about it, it's three strong women that have come out of that family, and they're very different. Yeah. It's like Charlie Brown, they're all very different, but God brought y'all together. And it seems like, I've read the books, and I know Mama Ruth is a pistol, but sometimes it seems like Eva, y'all got to read the book. She's the same one, but she got a few issues too.
Yeah.
But she sees the damage that Nadine is doing to her children. She sees
one thing
that.
I know, Eva loves her nieces, baby. Eva.
Right. She loves them and tries to protect them. Yeah.
She messes with them too, but she loves them.
Now, let me ask this, and I may ask you the same question, Katina, but in what way is Eva different from you, though, Lakeisha? Because you said you're a person that wants to bring everybody together, but in what way is Eva different that maybe has to stretch you a little bit in your art?
Oh, that's a hard question. Because you know how you get so into a character that you try to make everything so similar that you can't find a difference. But being that, and when I'm looking at a character and anything I do, I look for similarities because I always want to make sure something is similar. Eva has a quick temper, quick mouth, very blunt. And that's already a part of my personality. So when I read the script, I was like, this this is gonna be great. I get to argue with somebody on stage. You know, it was like, so I look at that, but I honestly can't say how she's different, because in life, in real life, everyone has things that they struggle with. Everyone has problems. Everyone is, you know, trying to do better in a way. So I relate to Eva more than I would like to admit, because I mean, she's a firecracker really, and but she has one of the most compassionate hearts ever.
Mm-hmm.
So I really
And
can't see the difference.
well, and you're right, because we all have something that we're struggling with, but also they're just different sides to us. So you catch me at this moment, I'm all peanut butter and jelly. Catch me at butter. You catch me at another moment, I might be jalapenos or something like that, And it just depends on what's going on. But I think that's the marvelous thing about the way that Felicia has developed all of the characters.
So realistic.
Exactly. They're so realistic. And then for you as the actors, you guys are able to connect, but then you get to stretch, and maybe ways sometimes that you didn't even expect that you were going to have to stretch.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you saying that Eva is quick-tempered, she's blunt. Well, you almost described Nadine, or you did describe Nadine. You know?
I mean, they come. I mean, hey, they
That's
gotta get it from Mama Ruth.
sister.
Mama.
My sister.
Mama Ruth. Mama
I
Ruth's
always
children.
agree with it, but that's my sister.
Mm-hmm. Mama Ruth's children. Mama Ruth's children. And that's another good point when we talk about families and look at things from a broader picture. I think I put it in one of the posts, sibling rivalry, but not rivalry the way some people may think about it. It's just they're different. They're different. I think about my siblings. We don't have a rivalry, but we have the same mother and father.
Yeah.
But we are so different. But
same.
We're the same. And it's hard to explain it to people, but we're the same, but we all are different, very, very different, but we the same. And if
Trust
you push,
you're
going to see.
I have.
Come on here with it. You'll find out.
I have 10 siblings.
Ooh.
So, yeah, Christmas has always been crazy.
Absolutely.
That's the title of a good play. Christmas is crazy.
Go on right there, Felicia. But,
go ahead. God, 10.
But yeah, so different personalities. Trust me, there's always an argument somewhere. So I know how that goes.
Mm-hmm. But the thing is, with someone else being there, I'll even say your husband, because I know your husband. It's an argument. It's a funny thing about families. It's an argument that we appear to be having, but you can't get in it because it's the way we communicate. So to you, it seems like it's dysfunctional. They're not getting along. They don't sit horses. Oh, no. We sit horses very well. This is our family. These are our dynamics. Don't you come into it, because then what's going to happen is we're going to all turn and we're going to be you. So you got to know your families.
Right.
And I mean, and that, the funny thing about this, guys, I've read, Felicia has another book. This is just the first book about Sister Nadine. She got another book, and I've read that book, and I think it's in that one that you really get a chance to see more of the relationship between Eva, Nadine, Mama Ruth, and the girls. And you see that, they are very close-knit family, even though Nadine is set in her ways, and we can't stand her half the time. So, it's very set in her ways. Yes. Now, what do you think?
Teresa, can I add one thing? I wanted to also add, when you were asking about Nadine and Eva, Eva's character is someone that is also transparent and honest about who she is, unlike Nadine. Eva's like, I got my hands, but this is who I am, and I'm not saying to show that. But Nadine is so concerned about her church image. That's why nobody knows the other side of her. Now,
Let me ask
even
a real
behind
life
closed
question.
doors, as you read in book one, behind closed doors, even something, but still she's also open and honest in public about who she is.
Yeah. And since you mentioned that, let me ask something, Felicia, because I read both books. Is Nadine really fooling the church people? You know what I'm saying?
She's,
Consider what they're
she's
going to be having.
fooling, she's fooling the pastor. There are a few people, as you know, in the book that have had an encounter with her, so they know how she is. But the pastor is so blinded by champagne till he doesn't even really see what's going on, and he
That
just eats up
champagne.
all of the attention that Nadine gives him. So he doesn't see what's going on at all.
That
Yeah, because
champagne.
really. And we really need champagne, guys, not the well, we need champagne, however you want to take champagne to be. But Pastor Craig, because you're right, he is so blinded by champagne and by Nadine stroking his ego
Mhm.
and then troubleshooting everything. So he really don't have to do anything. He doesn't care, even if I should say that it appears that he doesn't care, even if people are bringing concerns to him, because what he gets from her, how he benefits, outweighs the concern of the other folks in the church,
Right.
which I think is which is so in line sometimes with what we experience in our home churches. People overlook certain things for certain
Right.
families, but then for other families, they want to bring you before the church,
Right.
like you have done the worst thing, since whatever. And it's like, it was okay when these people did it, but not okay when I did
Right.
it. So,
Right.
we talk about the contradictions, not only within Nadine, her home life, and then her church life, and then there's her, you guys got to get the book. And then there's her work life too. You got to get the other book.
Yeah.
I mean, she is something.
Yeah.
But that's what we live every day. That contradiction sometimes.
Yeah.
And
And
I
Ann
like again.
dares to, Ann, I think, dares to call her to the carpet on it sometimes. That's why they get into it.
Yeah, big difference between Ann and Patsy.
Correct.
Yeah.
No,
And
Patsy's the oldest, so she's been through the drama a little longer, and she's a shielder too. So sometimes things don't always get to Ann that she's been through, but then Ann does have those encounters with her mom, and Ann stands up more so than the older sister.
and do you think and you can weigh in on this too, Katia, do you think that Nadine sees herself in Ann, and maybe that's the reason why she's a little, well, she's kind of rough with all the kids, but that's the reason why they don't really connect as much.
Oh, well, I feel like she do see herself, but at the same time, it's like she's fighting against that person that she used to be. That's why me and her bump heads. Yeah.
Right.
That's a powerful statement when how do I want to say this? Hmm. You know, sometimes when people see themselves in a person, they're not very kind to that person. Or if they see what they perceive as a mistake, they're not very kind to that particular person. And sometimes because of how they respond to the person, it perpetuates their generational curses, because then they start being either verbally or physically abusive to that individual, which brings me back to our trigger warning. So I'm going to let you talk a little bit about that, Felicia.
Well, because there are some really sensitive scenes in the stage production, where we're dealing with teenage mutilation, suicide attempts, we're dealing with domestic abuse, we're dealing with verbal abuse, and so those things for people who've been through that or lived through it and saw it, or even were the victims of it. Those are some things that might trigger some certain emotions or reactions in individuals. So we will have also social workers on site for the production.
Thank you for saying that, Felicia, because when we start dealing with, if God was still here, he would say, them demons that we all have within each of us. Sometimes it's hard to deal with it the appropriate manner. And so we certainly want to make sure that if anyone needs any assistance, that they know that you can come to the stage play still, but you're going to get some assistance there if you need it. Now, I'm going to go back to Lakeisha. Do you have, well, I know you, I don't think you are. You're not going on the trip, are you?
No, I'm kind of glad I don't go on that trip.
Girl, ain't it nice not to go sometime?
Yeah, I'm glad I ain't going on that trip. Yeah.
Well, Nadine threw him out, so
whatever I may lay, I'm just glad I didn't go on a trip.
That she didn't realize she was looking out for you.
right.
She was your kid not going either. Because she said he didn't have no clothes to wear. He didn't know how to talk to the people, so she wouldn't let him go.
I'm glad
And
he didn't go on a trip.
She wouldn't let Kenny go.
And
asked to go. And can't go either.
Oh, and you can't go either. Oh, well, she's a nice mama. Wouldn't let you go. I know you didn't like it at the time, but it's okay.
For looking out for me, Nadine. I appreciate you.
Hi, Cyrus. Cyrus said hello to us, ladies.
Hi, Cyrus.
Well, ladies,
but
I
yeah.
have to go. Thank you so much for interviewing me. Felicia, I'll see y'all in a bit.
All right. Thank you so much, Lakeisha, for being with us. But yeah, so Eva's not going to be able to go, and then Ann's not going to be able to go on the trip. You know, how did you? Yeah, and I'm gonna put you on blast, as they say. How did you feel when your mama wouldn't let you go on the trip that you wanted to go on? How did you feel? Did you feel anything? Did you talk under your breath?
I feel like because of the way, instead of talking to me and explaining to me why I couldn't go, she just blatantly said, "No, you can't go." And it just like, in my mind, I was kind of upset, but I had already knew in the inside. I'm like, yeah, she's not gonna let me go. She barely wanted me to look in her face. So you know, what's the point of me going on a trip with her? Like, so.
Well, let me ask this, because you know when we leave home, we try to leave stuff ready there for the family. Did she at least cook a good meal for y'all?
No.
Leave you some brownies?
Oh no, she's with some brownies. Oh, please don't ask her about them brownies. Don't touch her brownies. Don't even look at her brownies. Don't breathe on them. Touch her brownies. Oh, now she got to fight. Now she got to scream and yell. And I be sitting there like, Lord, if only I could just put my hands on her.
I know. Because I thought, well, you know, I know how she is about the brownie. Because, see, I've heard the gossip as I've been interviewing everybody that, you know, you just can't get a brownie from her. You better not touch it. Don't even ask her no more. And so I thought I'd see if she left you guys in, but she didn't leave you guys none either.
Okay. She lied to the first lady and told her it was a doggy treat. Because she just wanted to have a song. Time out. Doggy treats. I only made one. How you make one?
Thank you. Wouldn't even let the first lady have a brownie.
She had to give it to her wannabe husband.
Wannabe husband. Okay.
See, even the children see the favoritism that she has towards the pastor. And they see that she treats Pastor Craig better than she does their dad.
Talk about daddy like he hot.
Yeah. And he's a good man. I just don't know why she treats Kenny like that. He's nice. And the thing is with Kenny, guys that don't know, he has been with Nadine a long time. Through the good, the bad, and the ugly. And he still loves her.
Yeah.
He still loves her. And he's seen it all. He has really seen it all with her. But like I said, it's okay that you guys can't have a brownie. She's looking out for y'all weight, even though y'all young girls, y'all shouldn't be worried about your weight. And she didn't have time to cook you any food because she knew Patsy would take care of it.
Right.
So, you know, again, you know, she's all focused on her. And she wants to make sure everything goes well on this trip because, you know, she actually put it together. because she would have been all up in Pastor's ear, saying what needs to be done and what don't need to be done. So again, so now let me ask this, Felicia. I know because I've talked to you a lot about Nadine and her family. And she's a compilation of lots of people that you know. Some you may be related to, but just a couple, because we all know Nadine, because there's one at my church. We know Sister Nadine. I want to say nurse, that white, it used to be like nurse uniform, those white uniforms that they wear. They may do a combination of black and white, but that uniform that has to be just pressed, and it'll cut you. But her kids have to do the ironing for her. She don't iron.
Right. Exactly.
So it's like everything, when she walks in that church, I think it's a Greater Trials Baptist Church, when she walks in, she is pristine.
That's right.
But she doesn't go to hell at the house in order to become pristine, to walk in there and then take over what's going on at the church.
Exactly.
And so my question is going to be, given all the different facets of her, because she's a very complex character, does she have a heart, besides a heart for Pastor Craig, that is? Does she have a heart at all? Or is she just holier than thou?
She's a very hard-shielded woman. I don't think she really has true love for anyone. She's come close to caring for someone. I think in book 2, you meet her friend Terrell. She was close to her. But even then, she didn't treat her like she should. So again, other than Pastor, no, she just, other than Pastor, everybody else she looks down on. So, when you look down on people, you don't care a whole lot about them. So.
Well, I don't want to give too much away. But they on this trip. I can say this, and I just learned this tidbit yesterday, guys, talking to Satan and God. I think judgment days are coming, as they say, it's a coming.
She's gonna have an awakening for sure.
She's gonna have an awakening, and I don't know how to play Ian. I'm gonna say that too, but I wonder if she had to do all over again, if she would do the same thing or she would make some changes.
I think somebody like Nadine has to have a great deliverance. So it would definitely take God to step in and do a transformation of the heart and mind. That would be the only way that she would change. He would have to show her herself and hold her eyes open so that she will look at it and see. Because again, with Kenny's hang-ups, she's so busy looking at him, she doesn't see her own fault. Because he isn't so visible, it's so outward in appearance. You do this, 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 and this. And so she no time slows down enough to say, let me step back and check myself. Let me do a self-evaluation of me. Because again, she thinks she's perfect. I mean, when you're in the midst of a mess and you think you got it all together, you never see.
No.
So Kenny's like a guinea pig. She picks on Kenny.
That's true.
You're right. She does pick on your daddy. But I mean, I know they had their little back and forth. But yeah, you're right. She really picks on him because that helps her to be able to. By her picking on Kenny, she's always able to elevate herself. Ignore all of her faults and all of the things that she's doing wrong. She does some wrong stuff. Let me tell you something. She does some wrong stuff, but she's able to ignore all of that and make herself prop herself up to be so great because Kenny's stuff, people in the street kind of see it. Right. But unless you in her house or somewhere else, you don't really see all the stuff that she's doing because she is into some dirt. I'm telling you.
Exactly. And Kenny tries to tell her, you have 3 daughters, and if you don't stop this and if you don't change, they're going to come up just like you. And when you read the 2 books, you'll find out how what Kenny says has a lot of truth to it, because how she's treated them affects each one of them. She has planted a seed inside of them, and it's got to come up. It's going to grow.
It's going to grow. And that's an important message because we've got the playwright and director, and then we've got one of Nadine's children here with us. And when you said that she's planted a seed, because we all plant seeds, and if you're into agriculture, if you plant it and you nurture it with water,
or
food, and all that stuff, it's
like
going to come up. And
right.
she's nurturing it because she put the seed there, and because she's so antagonistic and so hard and just so unwelcoming and unloving, she's nurturing that seed, and pretty soon those girls are going to grow up and they're going to go tit for tat with her. That's going to be something to see, tit for tat, because again, it's a different generation. Now she probably didn't go tit for tat with Mama. Mama
Oh
Ruth.
no, ma'am. Oh no, ma'am. She did not.
But they'll go tit for tat with her.
And she doesn't realize, you know, you say how much she's like Anne. In book 1, you know, when we're talking about a little bit of Nadine's past, you realize just how much she is like Anne when it comes to be protective of the father. But even then, she's in this moment now, and she does not see herself, or maybe she does, and that just makes her angry, you know. Because like you said, she's a lot like Anne, because there's some things that happened to Nadine, you know, that formed her, that made her this way, because it's intergenerational trauma that keeps going down. And Kenny is saying, you need to stop this. But she's saying, this is not what you think. You know, you don't know what you're talking about. And so Anne is the one saying, you know, she's trying to stand up for that. Yes, she does. And I'm tired of this, and I don't like the way you treat us. You know, and she shows her anger and frustration in a way that could hurt her.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, even though she has the face of an angel here, she's hurting.
Yeah.
She's hurting. You know. Now, let me ask you this, because we live in a real world now, Katia. We live in a real world, and the incidence of our young people, our teenagers attempting suicide has increased. And I don't have the statistic in front of me, but the number of boys of color who are committing suicide has increased. So given your character, I don't want to give them too much away, but I know that you're hurting and you're contemplating hurting yourself and maybe are already hurting yourself.
Right.
How, you know, from the character perspective, what do you need? What are you crying out for? Because when you do certain things, you're crying out for something. What are you needing?
I feel like that every child, people might not realize it, but every child needs that parent love. It can come from one parent, but it's greater when it comes from both of your parents. And me being a girl, needing that love from my mother is something that I really, really need. So
yeah, because you're daddy's girl, but there's just certain things that we learn from our mother.
Right.
And you're not getting that because it's almost as if she's had these girls because that's what society says she has to do, is have children, but she has no interest in actually parenting her daughters, which sets them up for many different pitfalls, not just a generational curse, but many pitfalls because they're not gaining that guidance.
Right.
And you know, I've read both books, and you know, it makes them susceptible to people preying on them because they don't have the guidance. And there are certain things that mom can talk to them about in a way that they understand it, that dad can give them the male perspective, but it's different. They need both perspectives. And they learn about relationships, what romantic relationships should be based upon what they see in the home. And in your home, she won't let dad be there. And even, I don't want to get my books mixed up, but even when he's away, is he away in this book, Felicia? Is he away in this book?
Book 2, he's already moved. He leaves in book 1, but in book 2, he's already moved.
And you know, even when he's gone, he's still making sure he's taking care of his family.
Right.
And his family is on his mind. He's working his way back to them. And he goes back to them, guys, for those who you need to get the other book, to get this book and get the other book. I'm telling you, it's a masterpiece.
And you notice, even with him being gone, Teresa, she still tries to manipulate him. She blames him. She still doesn't ever sit back and say, why did he really leave? Or, why did he do this? She still says, it's all your fault. I don't care what else you say. We're like this because of you. Anything that goes on in here is your fault because you're not here. But when he was there, you treated him like you didn't want him there.
Thank you. Thank you. So he couldn't do anything. So
He
it's one
can't
of those
win.
situations. That's it. He can't win. He damned if he does. He damned if he
That's
doesn't.
right.
But it's, as I keep saying with Brady and Ken, he loves that woman.
He
And he
does
loves
love
his
her.
children. He loves
And he
his
loves the
children.
old Nadine that he loves the Nadine that he met and fell in love with. And
Yep.
somewhere along the line it changed. And he even tries to remind her in a way, remember who you were, when we first met. Remember the situation you were in. But that things have somehow just slipped out of her mind.
Well, do you think it's because even as children, for those parents who are listening and those who will be parents, when we're children, we always, well, I should say we, lots of kids try to figure out why their parents behave the way they do. They may
Right.
not have the language to use, but they're trying to figure out what's wrong. They know something's off, and they're trying to figure out, why does mama behave this way? Why does daddy do this? And so my question is going to be, I wonder if Nadine wants to distance herself from Kenny because in ways, because of her occupation, and then the church, we know that she got into the church snow, so she's up here as far as church. But in her occupation, she's really risen above where she was. And so it's like she's arrived. She's arrived in her career. She's arrived at church. So I'm not that person anymore. But you still the same man that liked the old me. I don't want a man that likes the old me. I want a man that likes the new me. But
She
it's
doesn't
hard.
think Kenny is good enough.
Well,
And she's basing that on spiritual thing in her mind. She thinks that he's filled with an evil spirit and she's filled with this Holy Spirit. And so she wants a man that she thinks is on her level spiritually. And so, that's why she kind of does some crazy things. But she just looks down on him altogether. So at this point, she's like, I'm better than you, and I need somebody that is on my level. When she doesn't realize the grace that Kenny is even showing by staying here, and the love is, a lot more and more valuable than you could ever imagine, instead of trying to find somebody else to fill his place.
well, I'm telling you here now, Sister Nadine, guys, she wants the pastor. I'm trying to figure out how I can say this without giving anything away.
She wants to be the first lady.
She wants to be the first lady, and she is making strides to be somebody's first lady. Somebody's first lady. If she can't be Pastor Craig's first lady, she's going to be somebody's first lady. So even if she has to move first lady out the way. So again, she looking down on Kenny, and he ain't doing. He probably take a little drink, guy. He take a little drink every now and then. He ain't doing nothing like what she doing.
Right.
She is just letting it all hang out.
But she justifies it.
No. But you're right. She justifies it to herself, so it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But in actuality, she is she's having a good life. She having a lot of fun. When I say a good life, she having a lot of fun. I don't know if she should be having that fun because she ain't have no fun with Kitty. She having a whole lot of fun with somebody, I'm just saying.
And so again, as long as you justify your actions, then it's like it's always turned back on that person and not on you. And so it's okay what you're doing because you deserve to be able to do that because of the terrible things they're doing. But you understand you're still doing terrible things too. And Kenny again trying to tell her, what's going to happen with her daughters, their relationship, even their relationship in the church, or how they see church, or it's going to be affected by growing up in her household. And it's, if you read book 2, you'll see every one of her daughters deals differently with their relationship with religion, God, and with her. And Anne's character is really interesting in book 2.
Well, and also it's like yeah, this is not, I'm probably stretching a little bit, but it's almost like she's prostituting herself for her idea of religious acceptance.
Yes, and the image,
Yeah.
again, she's easy to step into the image of holiness, but she doesn't operate in the likeness of holiness. And so the image of holiness for her, she wants the man in the suit and the tie and to come in and he wants to be pastor this or his deacon this or bishop or whatever. That's what she wants. That's what she thinks should be by her side. She's so busy worrying about the image, she's not even doing her job to minister to people, though she thinks she is. One of the things I've said before is ministry begins at home, and she does not even minister in her home.
No, she doesn't minister in her home and don't even realize, I don't think she's even consciously aware. But it's hard to imagine that she's not. But I don't think she's consciously aware that she is hurting those girls.
No, she doesn't. She tells Kenny, what I'm doing, how I'm raising them is to be strong women. That's strength to her. Violence is strength to her. Control is strength to her. Verbal abuse is strength to her. And that's what she's showing them. Now, she's purposely showing them that and knows it, but she doesn't realize the damage that she's doing because she doesn't realize the damage that was done so much to her by her mother. And again, her mother is the only one that can do anything with her because her mother created this. But again, her
Yes,
mother, it's a generational. Her mother mistreated her. It just keeps going. But now the grandmother all of a sudden doesn't see, what's going on. And it's now my babies. How you do this to my babies? And Nadine's like, what?
exactly. I mean, guys, I'm telling you, you need to get these two books and you need to come to see the stage play. There is so much church hurt because the girls are being hurt by her idea of what church is. There's so much family drama. There's so much church drama. What they say, sweep around your own doorstep. What's done in the dark is coming to the light, and it does. And I haven't read the screenplay, but I can imagine at Judgment Day, some of the stuff that these people been doing is going to be brought before them. I did this. Yeah, but you were doing this at the same time.
Right.
So, I mean, you guys, you need to see this stage play. Now, Katia, you're a young person. I want you to tell anybody who's young that's watching or any parent, why do you think they should come out to see the stage play, The Brownie and Unforgettable Trip?
I feel like as a young person, I was actually listening to y'all talking. I was actually connecting my character to real life, and it's like as a young person, as a young person, it's like a lot of kids are going through this, and it's like it's to everyone else. Okay, yeah, my mother's great, but to me, my mother is doing this, my mother is doing it, and I feel like it will open the light on a lot of things, even though during Judgment Day, it's going to open a light on the stage. But you got to think about the people that are watching, the people that are taking this, receiving this message. Because to me, this is like a pastor preaching to me. Because it's like he's explaining, you go point by point, and he's explaining, hey, God is telling you, look, you need to clean your act up. And it's like the people in the audience, and they're going to understand, okay, maybe let me have a conversation with my child, or let me understand what my child is going through, or let me try to understand, let me look at myself in the mirror and be like, hey, am I doing right by my child? And as a child, you go, well, okay, am I doing right by myself? Am I doing right by what God wants me to do right by? It's like everybody's going to look at themselves and it's like, Lord, okay, this is real. God is going to come and let me make sure that I'm right before he get here. Because I don't want to be somewhere in a dead area and God comes get me and he goes, hey, you didn't make it, Yep. And it's just, it's going to be a very open-minded play. I just feel like a lot of people are really just going to look at themselves and be like, am I doing right by the people that surrounds me, the people that loves me, the people that are trying to help me? Am I doing right by them? Am I doing right by God? So, yeah.
And, you really hit it hard. And, hurt people. So am I supposed to keep hurting other people just because I'm hurt? Right. I've got children, I've got individuals that are in my family, but I'm still hurting folks. What is my responsibility? How do I get out of that? Let me check in with my kids to see if I've been hurting them and I was unaware of that. Exactly. Let me check in in to see if there are other things hurting them. But I've been so disconnected, I didn't even understand when they come home from school, they're hurting.
Yeah.
You know, and they're acting out their hurt in so many different ways, whether it's eating disorder, whether it's self-mutilation, whether they're contemplating suicide. They're acting out their pain, and I may be oblivious to it. Let me check in with them.
I comment on it? So in real life, my mother takes me to school. So every morning, my mama asks me, she's like, Tia, you okay? And if I'm frowning or I look upset, she wait a little bit. Then she turn the radio down and she go, all right, say your prayer. And so that's how that generates my day. When I get out of school, if my mom, well, hold on, before I get out of school, during school, it's like a process. During school, my mom texts me, hey, Tia, you okay? Everything okay? And then when I get out of school, how was school? She asks me, we talk, I tell her everything. And that's I feel like that's the problem. I'm the type of child, I'm going to tell every side of the story, including my own. If I'm doing wrong, my mama gonna know. I'm gonna tell her. I'm gonna explain to her why I did it, why I said it, and who I said it to, and then I'm gonna explain what they said to me. It's like I feel like too many children are telling one side of the story, and that's why their parents are not understanding them.
Yes.
And it's like it's very difficult if you're screaming out for help, but you're not actually trying to get the help that you need. So yeah.
And thank you for sharing that, and sharing how your mom checks in with you, because it gives you an opportunity to share what's going on. And that is so important. And everybody, you don't have to do it the way her mom does it, but you got to check in with your kids, though. You know your kids. You know how you built your relationship. Check in with them, because sometimes all they need you to do is ask the question, however you guys do it. Then the floodgates will open and you'll find out a whole lot of stuff that you had no idea that they may be dealing with or observing in our schools, because a lot is happening in our society very quickly. Felicia, I'm going to let you have the last word. Tell folks why they need to come see the play and how they can get tickets to the play.
Okay, well, let me also add too that Katia's mother is really, really a sweetheart. She really is, and she is so very supportive of her, and I appreciate her support in the production. She's in there with Katia, but she is a sweetheart, and she has prayed a lot for this production, and I greatly, greatly appreciate that. I thank God for her. But they can get tickets on Eventbrite, or they can see any cast member for the tickets. There's Mom. She's like our production prayer warrior.
And you got to have
and
one.
So, any cast member or eventbrite.com, you can get the ticket. Again, it's going to be April 29th. It's going to kick off at 3 p.m. It is going to, I think, touch hearts and minds and transform hearts and minds. And it's going to open up for further discussions. It may be a lot of things that come out of this discussion-wise. And I'm looking for all the churches and organizations to come out. Not you don't have to be in church. You ain't got to be a Christian to be up in here. You can be one when you leave, probably, but just come, because we're all God's children. Just if you're a child of God, He made you. You here. Be at that production.
Now you heard it here. Everybody is welcome. You don't have to go to church every Sunday in order to come to this play. Just come right on to the play. All the information for the play is on Eventbrite. The Brownie and Unforgettable trip is going to be April the 29th at 3 p.m. That's Central Time, guys, because I'm Eastern Time, but 3 p.m. Central Time. You can get tickets from any cast member. Felicia didn't say it, but let me tell those folks who are listening who are not in the Mississippi area, you can get a recording of the play. It is going to be taped, and so say it with me. You can reach out to Felicia, and once everything is completed with that, I know she'll share it with me, and I'll share it on my social media too, because you want to get a copy of it. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to get there, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it, but I know I'm going to get a copy.
We'll get the church bus and come get you, Teresa.
Please do. Send a bus up here to get me so I can come, because I feel like I'm going to miss it because I won't be there. But that's okay. Once I see it, I can't wait, because I know these characters, because I've been meeting with them guys, and you guys have been hearing my interviews with them. So you've got to go out and see the Brownie
And
And
Teresa, you need to be here so that you can hear Ann sing. I don't know if you knew Ann has an amazing voice, so you got to be here to hear Ann sing.
y'all gonna have to send the church bus. I'm telling y'all got to send the church bus. Please send the church bus. All righty, and that please do. Just do a little.
Okay, okay.
He is so sweet to trust in these arms, just to take him at his word, just to rest upon his promise. Oh, just to know the Savior saved the Lord.
Yes, you don't want to miss that.
International
Yes,
gospel singer.
yes.
You are already it. You
It
gave
is.
me chill bumps.
Yes,
It's so effortless. And when you
yes,
started singing, I felt it.
yeah,
I can't explain it.
yeah,
I felt the sincerity.
yeah.
You are wonderfully
She
creative. And do not forget to stay in touch with me because I want to know what you are doing because God is going to open up some doors for you, baby. Because you have a voice like a songbird. And it
That's
is
it.
effortless. So
God has blessed me. You hear me? He has blessed me.
I'm telling you guys, I mean, I'm floored by the talent. And this young lady is in high school,
Yes.
11th grader. So
Got a voice like
please
a full grown woman. Okay.
a full grown woman. And did you hear the control in it?
She good.
I mean, baby.
That's my baby songbird. That's my songbird. That's my baby.
mean, you keep your hand in your mama's hand and the other hand in God's hand. And the sky is the limit. And never forget, and I'm going to be old fashioned the way I'm going to say it, never forget your home training.
That's right.
Because many things will come before you. There'll be flashy things. But don't forget home training. And don't forget mama always has your best interest at heart. And don't let nobody convince you that she doesn't.
That's right. That's right.
And the sky is the limit. It's going to be the limit for you. I still get chill bumps.
Yeah.
So, on that note, thank you guys so much for joining me today on Talk with TAS Live. Thank you to our audience. Everybody, we really appreciate your joining. And I'll keep you posted on when you can get DVDs, those who can't be in Mississippi. But if you're in Mississippi or the surrounding areas, you don't have to be in church. You can go to church however you go to church. You may go to church online. But go out and support this play and support these actors because these are some phenomenal people that are going to be entertaining you. And it's good to be able to see God's word shared in a different way, a little lighthearted, but it got a real deep meaning and message that we all need to take a part in so that when we get to Judgment Day, he'll say, come on in, because we definitely don't want him to turn us away. So again, thank you so much, Katia. Thank you for Felicia for joining me today, and thank you to our audience. Until next time, make sure you take care of you so you can take care of someone else. Bye now.
Thank you, Teresa. We enjoyed it.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.